You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is a brisk 33 degrees here in Detroit. It's overcast, it's damp, it's chilly, but it's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Today, it's the New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers in the final game of a four-game set from Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees have taken two of the first three games of this set last night by a score of 13-4, and really everything got decided in a wild and wacky first inning.
Well, after the first two games and offensively, both teams kind of struggled to score runs. Or the Yankees come out against one of the Major League's best pitchers, and in the first inning, everything they hit found a hole. David Price tried to wiggle out of it through the snow, but it didn't work. When it was all said and done at the end of the first inning, 6-0 Yankees, and they never looked back.
And the hits just kept on coming, and David Price, who always struggles against the Yankees, it seems, he only lasted 2 1/3 innings as the Yankees ran away with it by a score of 13-4. Let's look at today. Today's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Anibal Sanchez will get the start for the Tigers. He struggled. Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees, coming off a very good start Saturday in St. Pete.
Well, he answered so many questions. There have been so many questions about him in spring training. The first couple of starts were not great. Well, he showed up Saturday night in Tampa Bay and said, you know what, I'm fine, I'm healthy. 7 innings, a couple of hits, did not walk anybody, and struck out 8. The velocity on the fastball was a little bit better, but the location on the fastball reminded everybody of last year. Tanaka pitched like an ace on Saturday night.
All right, today ends a very long road trip for the Yankees. 11 days and 10 games. A win, what a road trip would be. Meredith Marakovitz recaps when we get back right here on Yes.
In Detroit. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. It looks like the Yankees will be battling some snowflakes again this afternoon when they play, as they attempt to take 3 out of 4 from the Tigers. Not only would that give them the series win, but it would also be a big turnaround from the beginning of this road trip where they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. It certainly has been a turnaround, and so far, Joe Girardi is deeming this one a success.
I thought it was really important because we did not play well those first 5 games, and we've seemed to turn it around and kind of got everything in order now.
What's encouraged you most about the way the team has looked on this road trip?
Just how we bounced back. You know, after some tough losses, you think about we've had a couple one-run losses on this road trip and how we bounced back and played well. You lose an extremely tough game on Monday. You come out, win the next day, and then you put up a huge score yesterday in a day where it's The conditions aren't great. Just how they bounce back.
Couple quick lineup notes. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira are out. Joe Girardi saying just a day game after a night game, decided to give them off. But Brian McCann is in there. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. Michael Kay, Paul O'Neill, and John Flaherty coming your way next with Lineups First Pitch Baseball right here on Yes.
By TriStateGMC.com. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Game 4 of this 4-game set. The Tigers have taken the field. Anibal Sanchez taking his warm-up. So let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that will face Sanchez. And it's presented, as always, by our very good friends at Lexus. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field will lead off, batting second, and playing left, Brett Gardner. Carlos Beltran, the DH, hits third, cleaning up the catcher, Brian McCann. Chase Headley at third base will bat fifth, batting sixth, playing right field, Chris Young. Garrett Jones gets the start at first base, he'll bat seventh, batting eighth, playing second base, Stephen Drew, and D.D. Gregorius, the shortstop, and he is going to bat ninth. Let's take a look at the numbers on Sanchez. 1 and 2 with a 7.71 ERA, 17 strikeouts in 16 and third innings, but 24 base runners. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Well, he was socked his last time out by the Chicago White Sox. He allowed 9 runs in 3.1 innings to the loss to the White Sox. And more dingers. He's given up 5 home runs over his last 2 starts. Only 4, 22 games last year. So get ahead. When he's ahead in the count, hitters are hitting 189. When he's behind in the count, hitters are hitting 500. This guy's a good pitcher. He's just off to a slow start.
Ellsbury digs in. Sanchez is ready. And let's do it here in Detroit. And the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway.
Ellsbury did not listen to my scouting report. You know, you don't take strike one when the guy pitches well when he's ahead.
But you have to give Ellsbury a little bit of a break. He took a fastball off the chest last night. He's back in the lineup today.
He did say that was like being hit with a frozen snowball at 93 miles an hour.
Showing me something just being in the lineup.
The 1-1.
Michael's got a little raspy voice. He's still in the booth.
That's right.
Gamer.
I don't know if we could trust you with play-by-play just yet, Paul.
No.
Now, John would be great at it. He is great at it. The 1-2. 2-2. Home plate umpires Phil Cuzzy, Tony Randazzo at first, Will Little at second, and Jerry Davis at third.
You know, Paul, you mentioned Sanchez, a good pitcher, and that last pitch had that movement down in the zone. That's what he's been lacking early on with those 5 home runs already. You mentioned only giving up 4 all of last year. They're saying everything is up and it's flat.
That one's popped up. Right side of the infield. Kinsler makes the play. Faking it to his left was Cabrera. And there's one away. Let's check out the defense, which is presented by Geico. Cespedes, Ghost, and J.D. Martinez left to right in the outfield. It's Castellanos, Hernan Perez at short, Ian Kinsler at second, and Miguel Cabrera plays first. Behind the plate, Alex Avila. Both catchers day game after night game in the starting lineup, and Paul told you about Anibal Sanchez.
You know, Brad Ausmus goes back to the old days where you come out, the same 9 guys other than the center fielder in there every single day. I mean, there's not a lot of deviation in this lineup as far as where guys hit. Everybody has their role. As you come to the ballpark, you know what you're expected to do. I like those old days, Flash.
I guess the only difference, Perez getting a start at short today instead of Iglesias.
Yeah. That one's popped up. And the center fielder Ghost makes the play. Let's check out the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's 33 degrees. Wind chill makes it feel like 23 degrees. And the wind's out of the northwest at 16 miles per hour. It's supposed to get a little warmer, high near 46, but mostly cloudy today.
You know, I like the Bigelow Tea scouting report, or the weather report, but I tell you what, it's had an off series.
Yes, it has.
It's had a bad series. There's no doubt about it.
It's more like Bigelow iced tea.
Bounce back when you get back to New York, huh?
Nicer weather there.
Absolutely.
You know, it's strange what you mentioned that Ausmus runs the same lineup out there most of the time. They also don't shift as much as other teams, so I wonder if they just don't believe as much in the analytics, or this is a manager that doesn't want to use it.
You know, I talked to Brad about that a little bit before the first game of the series, and he said his general manager, Dave Dombrowski, is kind of an old-school type guy. They give him all the information, and whatever the manager wants to do with it. His responsibility as being the manager is a clubhouse and the lineup and what you do with your club.
Well, they are shifting here for Beltran with 3 infielders on the right side.
He said there are numbers that you cannot ignore, and the Yankees have some hitters that will just strictly try to pull everything on the ground, especially.
And Beltran being one of them. The 1-2. 2-2. But you do kind of raise an eyebrow when almost every other team shifts so much more than the Tigers, and the Tigers seem like they eschew it. So it's working out. They've got a pretty good record. And they've won 4 Central Division titles in a row. 2-2. Check swing. Did he go? Did he go? Yes, he did. Jerry Davis had trouble raising the arm, but finally did, and Beltran is down on strike. So the Yankees go down in order against Sanchez. 1-2-3. It's the Yankees nothing, and the Detroit Tigers coming to bat. Come in at 11-4. Anthony goes there. Center fielder will lead off. Ian Kinsler at second will bat second. Batting third, playing first, Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez, the DH, cleans up. The number 5 hitter, right fielder J.D. Martinez. Yoenis Cespedes in left field. He'll bat 6. Batting 7th, catching Alex Avila. Nick Castellanos is the third baseman. He'll bat 8th. And batting 9th, the shortstop, Hernan Perez. And it's Tanaka on the mound for the Yanks. His number's 2-1, 3.94, 3 starts, 16 innings, 11 hits, 5 walks. So 16 base runners in 16 innings and 18 strikeouts. And now let's take a look at the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Well, is he your ace in the hole? First couple of times out, 7 earned run and 9 innings pitched, but last time out, great out. 7 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts. And Freeze, no, not the weather, but he froze a lot of hitters down in Tampa Bay. 4 called strikes. And Battery made every one of his career starts has been with Brian McCann, so he's got to be comfortable in that aspect today.
Now let's check out the defense behind Tanaka. And that is presented, as always, by Geico. It's Gardner, Ellsbury, and Young in the outfield, left to right. Headley, Gregorius, Drew, and Jones in the infield, third to first. And McCann is behind the plate. So Gose is ready. And Tanaka deals. Swing and a miss. 90-mile-an-hour fastball to start off the proceedings. It's gotten a little warmer here. It's 34 degrees, so it's popped up a degree in Detroit on April 23rd. Again, when the Yankees were getting onto the bus at the hotel this morning, snow coming down. And a lot of the fans prepared for the elements. Skied the other way and out of play. Bad news for the Tigers. Joe Nathan is going to be out for the rest of the year. Underwent an MRI yesterday, and it revealed a UCL tear and a flexor pronator tear. Season-ending surgery at a later date. You wonder if that's the end of his career.
It's an in-depth injury report. I've never heard of a flexor pronator tear.
That one is punched down the left field line. It's a base hit. Cutting off the sidewall is Gardner. He'll get the ball in, but it's a double for Gose. This is the official injury report brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. 15-day DL, but they'll move him to a 60 if they need a space on the 40-man. He left a rehab appearance on his 10th pitch. He felt a really searing pain in the elbow and diagnosed with a torn UCL. He has already had Tommy John surgery in 2010, so if he does get it repaired, it would be the second one. And you're seeing a lot more of that lately as well. 2 TJ surgeries.
You'd wonder if he'd want to rehab and try to come back. I mean, at what, 40 years old? He's had a great career, second time going through it. Might just say, let's get the surgery done and see you on the golf course.
It's an interesting question, John. If he's not going to pitch again, does he have to have the surgery? Could he still live a normal life?
You know what? Dave Island, who's the pitching coach for the Kansas City Royals, had it done twice.
Right.
And he said he got it done the second time because he thought he might want to coach and get in, had to throw BP and things like that. So it's a good question.
Does it affect your golf swing?
That's the most important thing at this
Bowling,
point, right?
Some of the things you want to take on later in life, yeah.
I don't know if it would affect bowling.
No? Well, underhand?
Underhand doesn't put much stress on the elbow.
You a good bowler?
No.
Oh, well, then why are you commenting on bowling?
Are you a good bowler?
I could fire it down there once in a while.
Up the middle, slowed down by Tanaka. Right there is Drew. They get the out. Moving to third is Anthony Gose.
Tell you what, Kinsler's hit some balls hard the last couple of nights and has absolutely nothing to show for it. A few line drives last night. This ball hit right on the nose. From my angle, immediately get by the pitcher. You think it's right up the middle, but Drew playing close to the base gets the job done. But every once in a while, you need a hard hit ball to find some grass.
Cabrera has an RBI at third with the Yankees playing the infield back.
It's Tanaka's first time starting against the Tigers, first time seeing Cabrera, and he faces him the first time with a runner at third with 1 out.
So early in the game, Flash. I mean, you're looking at the first inning. I mean, do you start pitching around guys this early in the game for a big inning? I don't think so either.
You would trade an out for a run here and move on.
Now, for those keeping score at home, John, you saw the replay. Do you think that Tanaka slowed that down, or was that the mound?
I don't think he touched it.
Okay, so we'll score it as a 4-3.
.34 degrees out there. The pitchers always talk about their breaking ball. They have a tough time with the grip. Wondering about a split finger fastball from Tanaka.
And to your point, you've seen a lot of fastballs early in the game.
Here's the ball that was hit up the middle.
I don't know.
It's going to make a big difference in your scorebook, right?
You know what? Somebody gets an assist, Paul. These things are important to people. Fantasy leagues, you know, they have Tanaka for assists. That's big.
A little irritable today, isn't he? Day game after a night game.
Must have got a full night's sleep last night.
2 nights in a row without sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Last night, another bad one.
Another bad one. Must be the hotel. But I have memorized every mark on that ceiling.
Terrible.
Three of the 4 Yankee infielders have their bare hand in their pocket. Only Garrett Jones is braving the elements.
Worried about his hands. He's trying to keep his legs loose.
Two.
Thought there might be a split coming there, 2-2, but he had a little extra with the fastball at 93. Victor Martinez on deck.
Have we seen a split yet? I think it's been mostly fastballs, and you know, to your point, he was up to 93, but might not feel real comfortable yet, as cold as it is, to get that grip with that split finger. Good spot for it here, 3-2, full the hitter. Slider.
This is outside.
We'll take a look back. The first time Tanaka faces Cabrera, and we'll look at the pitch by pitch, how he attacked him. Fastball, a little cut off the plate away, ball 1. Breaking ball misses, ball 2. Fastball, a little cut again. Foul ball. Right down Broadway, he missed it. Thought he might go with the split, 93-mile-an-hour fastball. And then the slider misses on a 3-2 count.
Here's Victor Martinez. Again, batting from the left side against a righty, and it's really painful for him with the back leg, knee really bothering him. But we told you yesterday he refuses to bat right-handed against a righty pitcher.
Well, let's take a look at the Jeep hitter scouting report on Victor Martinez. And last year he had a big season. The MVP runner-up, 335, 32 bombs, 103 RBIs. And not your typical slugger with those 32 home runs, and he's a swing and miss guy. He only struck out 6.6% of the time last year. And probably the most important part of his job is protecting Miguel Cabrera, who hits in front of him. I wouldn't exactly say this is the pace Tanaka wanted to come out of the bullpen with. Working slow.
Seems like he's really thinking about it. I think that he's having trouble with it. First pitch to Martinez was the first split finger I remember seeing, and he's had trouble, you know, getting that slider down in the strike zone. right after him. Martinez, obviously, with the knee problem, a great guy to double up if you can get him to hit a ground ball, but such a smart hitter. So you've got to make some good pitches to get to that.
When you think about Martinez and the high average and the power, over 30 home runs, only to strike out just over 6% of the time is incredible.
Fly ball, left field. Gardner makes the catch. Tagging is Ghost. Here's the throw. It's up the third baseline. Ghost scores. Sac fly for Martinez, and Cabrera moves to second, so it's 1-0 Tigers.
I think Gardner thought he had a better shot at Ghost, and he kind of airmailed Headley at third, and Cabrera was able to just jog into second base. So you stay behind it, you stay behind it. You know you're coming forward, but you see the ball's just a little high. Cabrera gets a good read on it, and he can just cruise to second base.
We've talked so much about this Tiger lineup the first 3 days of the series, how dangerous they are. Great job of situational hitting there. Kinsler advancing Ghost over to third base. Martinez a little sac fly. A couple of productive outs.
And there's a strike to J.D. Martinez.
No doubt that Tanaka's going a lot with the fastball this first inning. Martinez hit a fastball out over the plate. Another fastball to start off. There's a good slider.
You listen to Brian McCann after Saturday night's start in Tampa Bay, and he said Tanaka could do whatever he wanted tonight. Throwing his curveball, his slider, his split, locating the fastball. A little easier to grip the breaking ball inside Tropicana Field than it probably is out there with 34 degrees today.
You see the Detroit hitter's not even offering it, that split finger. He's not able to get that in the strike zone and then break it out. It's out of the strike zone, right out of his hand, and you see hitter's not even jumping at it.
Two and two. Cabrera turns around and checks the outfielders where they are, trying to get a good secondary lead with 2 outs. 1-0 Tigers, bottom of the first. First time in this 4-game set that the Tigers have had the initial lead. Yankees have jumped ahead 1-0 in each game. Last night it was 6-0. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3. Martinez does not like it. But Phil Cuzzy makes the call. The Tigers take the lead. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We played 1. It is 1-0 Detroit. Coors Light. And it's about the offense on the road trip. Yankees are 6-3 in the first 9 games, averaging almost 6 runs a game. Batting average of 256. They've had the long ball working with 12 and a 270 average with runners in scoring position. Lights are on an overcast day at Comerica Park. Yankees one down in order against Sanchez in the first. Brian McCann will start it off here in the second. The shift is on for McCann. 3 infielders on the right side, 1 on the left. And they really don't worry about McCann hitting ground ball to the left side. They worry more about him bunting. That's why they have their left side infielder right up on the lip of the grass. 1-1. Foul back.
I like the fact McCann in the lineup day game after a night game for a few reasons. Starting to swing the bat a little bit better. A couple of hits last night. Paul, you mentioned in the scouting report working with Tanaka. And this weather, as uncomfortable as it is to play in, doesn't drain you physically at all when you catch a game like he did last night.
Now it seems, John, to be an accepted fact that you don't catch catchers day game after night game, although both managers are doing it today. It's as if catchers can't handle it. And then you look at Yadier Molina, and he's played every game and plays about 145 games a year for the Cardinals. So is he just superhuman, or are they really, really careful when it comes to catchers?
I mean, I think they're careful as you see this fly ball go to right field, but I think that managers, it's more picking your spots. When the weather gets a little tougher in the summer and it's hot, it takes a lot out of you. But like I said, last night, cool night, it doesn't really physically challenge you at all.
Time for today's conversation, brought to you by Toyota. Toyota is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. What has impressed you the most about the Yankees on their current road trip, and why? Pitch to Headley is a strike. Let's see one of the responses. Catherine Rossi, clean baseball, pitching well, and key hits. That was easy. They were giving the opposition too many outs early in the season.
Anytime you see a word K with a Y, you want to go to your name.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's just my ego taking over. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. The 0-2. Foul tip into the club of Avila. And Headley down on strikes, 2 away.
That's a good sign right there for Sanchez and the Tigers. And mentioned he's given up 5 home runs already. A lot of balls up in the zone that were flat. Not this afternoon so far. Good movement down and away.
Talking about it in the scouting report, I mean, this guy's a good pitcher if they can keep him healthy. He's had some stints on the disabled list the last couple of years, but see, when he's healthy and he's throwing the ball well, he's as good as anybody. I mean, he's not a 5th starter. I mean, he's definitely a middle of the rotation guy that can do some good things for you.
A little bit of pressure on him this afternoon to kind of save that bullpen for the Tigers. David Price had a rough outing.
I didn't hear any post-game remarks from Price. Did you, Mike?
I was looking for it. The papers didn't have the stories.
Whether he thought anything with the Yankees or if it was just the way he threw the ball last night. Obviously not his usual self.
Well, you know who would probably have a pretty good idea? The catchers always kind of get a little bit sensitive when maybe a pitcher's making real good pitches and the hitters are all over it, that maybe a pitcher is tipping his pitches. So I think Avila behind the plate would probably be the one who would have picked up on that. But I think David Price, when you looked at his outing last night, he just didn't have it. The Yankees took advantage.
He said on Twitter last night, Mama said there'd be days like this. Everyone fails. It's how you come back from failure. That's what Mama said.
Mama said to be days like this. Now go clean your room. Huh?
That one is lined to left field. It is a base hit in front of Cespedes. He cuts the ball off at the line, bobbles for a moment, but Young will stay with the single. Boy, is he red hot or what?
I'll tell you what, again, he's earning those at-bats. I mean, here's a start against one of the better right-handers in the rotation, and he continues to throw together good at-bats. Ball up, hanging out over the plate, and he just hammers it to left field. Good base running. He circled the base at first base, and he saw Cespedes kind of bobble it. It came right back, but he gave himself an opportunity. If he didn't come up with it cleanly after he bobbled it, that he was going to go to second. Good job.
You watch his swing. It's so simple with his front foot.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, he's quick to the ball now, too. There's not a lot of movement. Extra base hits you see recently. I mean, 9 extra base hits.
And those are the Honda League leaders. Only the Sox's Jose Abreu has more.
4 of them home runs. I mean, off to just a great start here in April.
You saw in that replay, it was that front foot gets down with a little bit of hesitation, and then the hands go right to the ball. It's just so simple right now for Chris Young.
Shattered bat and a ground ball to short right field. And they get Garrett Jones for the final out of the second. No runs are hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Tigers. Ten-game road trip for the Yankees. It could be 7-3 if they win this one. Obviously, if they don't, 6-4, which is still not terrible for a very long road trip. And the Yankees head home and start a 3-game set against the Mets. The first portion of the Subway Series early this year, and tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium will be the first game. Tanaka gives up a run in the first inning, a double a ghost. Moves to third on a ground ball to second, and then scores on Victor Martinez's sac fly to left. And that's the scoring at this point. Tanaka threw 23 pitches in the first inning. And now he'll face 6, 7, and 8 in the Tigers' order, starting with Yoenis Cespedes. Tigers had a great promotion before the game. They did not allow either team to take batting practice on the field, but they had about 2,000, 3,000 kids packed every seat behind the Yankee dugout, and they taught them a math class. High fly ball, left field. Gardner's there. One away. They used the scoreboard, and what they did was they would give problems to the kids, but the problems would be applicable to baseball, like what David Price's whip would be and how you calculate that and what a batting average would be. Great idea to get kids involved in baseball and then teach them a little math. One kid was wearing a Paul O'Neill shirt and asked a question. Said, "I think the scoreboard's about 45 feet off. Let's calculate that."
Yeah. That started engineering class,
Yes.
right out of math class.
And really, to get that line, you would have had to listen to the whole game yesterday. John, you think 34 degrees takes away a splitter today?
Well, I think he's showed us in the first inning he doesn't have a great feel for it. You wonder if it's going to get a little bit better. We've seen a lot of fastballs, some sliders, a couple of splits.
We talked about how Simon in the first game said he could not grip his breaking ball because the ball gets very slick in cold weather. I was reading a story, I don't remember who wrote it, but the guy was criticizing why baseball continues to handle the baseballs the way they did 30 years ago, where you actually rub it up with mud, when it should be like the Japanese baseball, which comes with a tacky feel to it, and you never have to rub it up, and it's easier to grip in cold weather.
What? We need some traditions, though.
I guess so.
Yeah, but the difference is, like, the Yankees come to Detroit and they rub up the balls differently than how they would at Yankee Stadium. Or the umpires are supposed to do it, but I don't think that they.
I think it's the clubhouse guy.
The clubhouse guy that does it.
The 2-2.
So you don't think the umpires do it anymore?
No.
Because I remember in the old days, I mean, you would go, as you ran out to the field, you'd see the big bucket of baseballs that were rubbed up for the game, and sometimes as a hitter, it would frustrate you because they were rubbed up too much dirt.
Yep.
You know, and they became dark, and you couldn't see the seams as well. It used to frustrate you.
Swing and a miss.
Good slider there.
And how about this idea? Each team has their own baseballs that they use, like the NFL has their own footballs, right? Each team would go out there with the 11 or 12 footballs that they want. Yankees go out there with their baseballs rubbed up the way they want them to be rubbed up.
Okay, so if you're only playing defense with your baseballs, you'd rub them up almost black because there would be no seams, right? Because you'd know as well as I do, the darker they are, the harder it is to pick up the seams on a slider, on a sinker, or something like that. So there goes your playing flag.
All right.
And for those that are new to the game, baseballs come in a box and they're called pearls. I mean, they're pristine white. Breaking ball drops in there to Castellanos, and then they literally take mud and they rub up the baseballs. So it looks like a dirty baseball that's been used, and those are the ones that are used during the game. Because the ones that come out of the box are too slick, right, John?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to my point, that last replay, you could really see the seams of that baseball spinning. And as a hitter, that's what you pick up, and that's how you track where the ball is going to go. I mean, you've seen so many different spins that you know a two-seamer's going away from you. You know that slider's going to go away or come into you from a righty. So your eye and your mind adjust to the way you see those seams.
Castellanos swings and misses. A good bounce back inning for Masahiro Tanaka. Let's see the spin on this one. Saw the little dot, swung, and the ball just dipped away. A 1-2-3 inning for Tanaka. Let's go to the third. game. 3 games against the Mets starting tomorrow night on Yes, then 3 against Tampa Bay, an off day, and then 3 in Fenway. Do you guys like playing at Fenway?
I love playing at Fenway out on the field. The clubhouse itself was horrible. The dugout was horrible. But on the field and the rivalry, I love the city.
Sounds like a broken bat off the bat of Drew. 1 away. And on the Audi A3 scoreboard, you just saw Tigers lead 1-0. Did the fans ever get personal with you, Paul?
You know what? It was a funny place because they hated you at the ballpark, and yeah, they would get in your face and they would wear, O'Neill, your horrible T-shirts and all kinds of things. But then if you saw fans out on the streets, they would actually talk to you and be friendly, and they just love the rivalry. And Flash, you kind of had it both ways as a home player and an away player.
Yeah, when I was there as a home player, though, the Yankees weren't great and the Red Sox were not good, so it wasn't really a rivalry in that sense. But then playing for the Yankees, and both teams were excellent. I remember times taking the team bus back to the hotel on Boylston Street, and there'd be fans lined up on the street, saying some choice words to everybody on the bus as you would drive by.
And if you'd like copies or added shirts of the I Hate O'Neill T-shirts, you can get them at my website. So
is that K-Bay?
EK.
EK.
K-Bay works. I might change the name of it. The O2.
How's your advertising on that site, by the way?
Oh, very good.
Really?
Doing very well. I'm just doing this for fun now.
All those giveaways for the last 20 years.
You remember how those Met games and the Red Sox games always had a different feel to them? A lot more important.
Yeah.
The Yankees have a bunch of important games coming up here.
I used to like those games. Guys would be scrambling for tickets because it was an important game.
Yeah.
It made you feel. It's funny. It takes you back to even like the minor leagues on Friday nights. You'd have bigger crowds, and back in high school when you played for the districts, there were bigger crowds. They were more important, and it's just a little shot of adrenaline to understand it was a little bit bigger game than normal.
Are the Yankees going to get Matt Harvey in this series?
Yep, on Saturday. DeGrom tomorrow, and I believe Nice on Sunday. And the Yankees will send Pineda tomorrow against DeGrom, Sabathia against Harvey, and Eovaldi against Nice. Here it is. There's the matchup. DeGrom, an ERA under 1. Matt Harvey, who revealed yesterday his ankle's been bothering, but will not miss the start against Sabathia, who pitched very well on Monday here. And then Nice against Eovaldi. Didi Gregorius works a walk.
Certain things, Flash, has got to drive you crazy, and nothing against Didi Gregorius, but as a catcher, and your pitcher seems to be okay, and then all of a sudden you walk the 9-hitter, a guy that's kind of been struggling offensively.
And he fouled off some tough pitches, which would probably frustrate you even more.
You joked about it, John, but it really showed me something that Ellsbury's playing tonight. I mean, that was really a tough blow to the chest that he took yesterday in the first inning. He stayed in for most of the game and is playing here today as well. Something like that could really stiffen up overnight.
I always felt these games, the getaway days after a long road trip, are really the tough games to take a look last night. First at bat. What did you say? A frozen snowball?
That's what he said. A frozen snowball, 93 miles an hour.
I always felt like these games were the tough ones after a long trip, getaway day, trying to keep your focus for 3 hours, get a win and get out of here, get on a plane.
Always loved that day game to get away. It made the trip end quickly, and you get back home. And when you've been gone for 10 days, man, there's not one person in that dugout that's not excited to get back home, be with your family.
Runner goes, and in there is Gregorius with a stolen base. So he's in scoring position.
Another part of the game that you like to see Joe Girardi get some of these guys in motion. You can't always rely on Teixeira and A-Rod to hit these home runs. I mean, you need to steal some bases, put some pressure on, and Kinsler makes a good play right here. This ball goes by him. Gregorius is at third base.
Now, Ellsbury was just complaining to Cuzzy, and Joe Girardi was yelling from the dugout. I'm not sure if that pitch was called a strike, and he didn't like that call, but the count is 1-2, so it was called a strike. Top of the third inning, it's 1-0 Tigers, each team with a hit. Yankees threatening here in the third. Runner in scoring position with Ellsbury at the plate, who picked up his first ribby of the year in yesterday's game. 2-2.
Yeah, it almost looked like a fastball up, out of the zone, off the plate. He calls it a strike. As a catcher, you'll call a fastball off the plate thinking a runner might be stealing to get a good pitch to throw on. I agree with Ellsbury and Joe Girardi.
Hey, you're catching there, and most of the time you're in a position and you're framing pitches you know strike or ball. When you're coming up to throw, do you realize corners and stuff you still know strike and ball on those close pitches? When you're coming out to throw to second base?
You're not concerned about it. Yeah.
You kind of lose sight of the strike zone at that point, right? Hole on the left side over there. Good pitch, that sinker down and away that you can really see that area right there as a left-handed hitter, especially with 2 strikes. And Sanchez, who loves to sink the ball.
And a walk issued to Ellsbury. So 2 walks by Sanchez, first and second for the Yankees, and Gardner coming up.
Flash, it looks like he's almost made a conscious effort to get the ball down, and now he's not able to even keep it in the strike zone. Been beat recently in the past couple games with giving up home runs that are up in the strike zone. It's like his whole game plan today was to keep everything down.
And the Tigers were saying that mechanically he was standing a little bit too tall, trying to get a little more drop and drive. And you're right, really working the ball down to the zone. But I give credit to the Yankees right there, Gregorius and Ellsbury, behind in the count. Both of them fouling off some tough pitches and working some walks.
There's a strike.
Tell as this game starts, you know, neither pitcher, I mean, it's 1-0. You've had base runners on both sides. Neither pitcher looks comfortable right now. Sanchez had a good first inning, but all of a sudden, you know, you're trying to figure out what pitches you got to go with. He's having trouble keeping things in strikes.
Oh, that's a nice play by Cabrera. And out at first is Gardner. Girardi is asking his people to look at the replay, so he's telling Beltran, don't go into the batter's box just yet.
Nice play by Cabrera, going to his right, laying out. It looks like Sanchez slows down a little bit as he gets to the bag, makes that play a little closer than I thought it was going to be.
He's out.
Got him.
Tell you what, you've seen Brett Gardner twice this series on balls that you think he would beat out, making good plays by the Tigers. Iglesias, remember on the first night, boy, he was on the highlight reel with that, going in the hole and throwing against his movement and getting it first.
It's a little different angle. And if you believe those that say you lose a step by sliding, he's clearly out. Good call by Tony Randazzo. And a really nice play by Cabrera. So a very big at bat for Beltran early in the game.
Carlos, couple of hits last night, had a line drive his last at bat.
You'd love to see him start to build a little consistency as far as driving in some runs in part of that lineup that, you know, he's capable. Obviously, you see the numbers on the back of his baseball card, and you just hope that he can get back to that at some point during the season.
Broken bat.
Another thing, when it's cold, a lot of times, you know, every time you get jammed, every time off the end of the bats break, and the wood gets a warmer days. Every once in a while you get away with it, but not today. That ball right off the pine tar label, and it cracks that bat immediately.
Blew it right by him, 93 miles an hour, and Beltran strikes out for the second time, and the Yankees leave 2 runners in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the third. That's Miami, guys, right there.
That's nice, right?
Did a bit with Seth Meyers on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and that was fun. What a great guy, and a really, really big sports fan as well.
Got a stand-up back, too? You can do it all.
You know what? I'm looking into that.
Is that right?
If this doesn't pan out.
How many takes?
One take, honestly.
Nice.
Audi A3 scoreboard 1-0. Tigers over the Yankees.
Were you reading it off of something?
No, he told me, like, the whispering in the ear, that was staged. But he told me what they wanted the play to be, and that was the first take.
How come you had more energy doing that call than you ever have when you're with us?
Because there was a squirrel involved.
Ah, there we go.
Something out of the ordinary, right?
No, because it was just one play.
It wasn't a 53-minute first inning?
No, it was not. But you ever meet, like, you did the Seinfeld stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You meet somebody who's famous like Seth Meyers and you expect him to be kind of taken with himself. So down to earth, such a sweet guy. So that was a lot of fun. So I thank the people there. I think they're going to ask me to be the band leader sometime this
year.
month.
Is that right?
Yeah, just an extra gig after the radio show in the winter.
We'll get Paul in the band then. Play the drums.
Paul is a drummer, yes. Get Bernie, who's going to officially retire tomorrow from baseball at Yankee Stadium.
So he'll be available.
He'll be available, yeah. And did you check with Neville if she signed the retirement papers?
She doesn't know anything about it either.
You're still an active Yankee. And there's a strike to Ghost. And Tanaka deals the 0-2. Strike 3.
There's that good two-seamer comebacker against a lefty. It just freezes you. Runs back over the inside part of the corner. Right there, that's a ball, and you see the movement late right to the inside corner.
It's a lot like what he did in Tampa Bay, where he'd slow you down, breaking balls early in a count, and then freeze you with the fastball late.
The high strikes kind of in fashion today, Flash. It's a couple balls up in the zone that have been called strikes.
Getaway day for the umpires as well. Flight to catch, I'm sure.
That one's chopped to short. DD charges, Fields fires. And Tanaka has retired 8 in a row since his first inning walk to Cabrera. We played 3 in Detroit, 1-0 Tigers. coverage begins as the Yankees and the Mets square off in the first game of the Subway Series. Our pregame coverage on Yes starts tomorrow at 6. Then Al Leiter's going to be shot out of a cannon. He'll be with me, and we'll have the Game 1 call between these two crosstown rivals. It's right here on Yes. Should be a very fun series.
I think Al's going to be excited, huh?
He's going to have candy, a lot of sugar. Lincoln scoreboard 1-0 Tigers, Red Bulls. Going to have to medicate him correctly for this series.
You know, a lot of times we do these three-man boosts just in case you need a little backup.
No, not with him.
With Leiter, there's no reason.
Well, you know, there is, though, because sometimes he gets that 7th inning crash.
Oh, he does?
Oh, yeah.
So you got somebody that maybe Jack, the studio, might have to
what I
buzz
do
in?
is I just tap him on the leg and cracks open another Red Bull. He's fine.
Nice. He used to pitch the same way, too. Like his pants were on fire out there or something.
We had a dinner in spring training where he was talking to David Cohn. It's about 2 hours. And each 10 minutes, he crept closer and he was in David's face at the end of the conversation.
That personal space.
He doesn't respect that personal space. But that's why we love him. 2-1 count on McCann as we start the 4th inning. Chase that one. What was that? Did he turn that over?
I think that's got to be a changeup, right? 85, great movement.
You see that it almost reacts like a split finger
that's
with
what I
the
thought it
movement.
was.
And I tell you what, that had a lot of movement sideways on it. Same pitch.
Grounded to short right field, bobbled, and they just get McCann hustling. That scored a 6-3. Oh, that's Castellanos. I'm sorry. So that's 5-3.
Like a 3-finger changeup, not the circle change, but a 3-finger changeup.
Just dig it way down deep in your palm, and then you really finish with those 3 fingers and get that movement away. Big breaking ball there.
He has the movement, but when you watch Sanchez too, he has a little bit of that Louis Tiant where he turns his back towards you and then jumps right at you. Make that changeup a little more effective with the delivery.
He really falls away to the first base side, and he gets that movement away. You see him all the way on this side of the rubber coming over this way, and then gets movement completely against the movement of his body.
It's an effective pitch right now. 2-2. Headley struck out in the second.
He's thrown enough breaking balls in on the lefties that you have to respect it. Opens up the outer part of the plate.
He's almost pitching backwards this inning. A lot of off-speed stuff early in the count, and then trying to blow that fastball by you late. Headley fouled that one off. Changeup. Yeah, he took some Flash took the speed off. Some of them been up in the mid 80s, low 80s. This was in the low 70s.
Reminds me of James Shields, who could throw a changeup off his changeup. 71 miles an hour.
Really have to have a good feel for that pitch to take that much off of it in between them.
Tiger said he was going to make an adjustment. He has, because he doesn't look like a pitcher who's given up 5 home runs already this year.
now 1-1 on Chris Young, who singled in the second inning.
I'll tell you what, you got to be happy with his movement if you're the Detroit Tigers. I mean, everything he's throwing today has movement, nothing straight. Change in speeds.
Well, his best fastball today has been 93, so there's a 20-mile differential.
You know, that one that he throws 71, you got to watch that as a catcher. You don't throw it too many times because he actually kind of slows his arm speed a little bit. If you throw it too many times, the hitters will really pick up on it.
Well, Young is arguing the way you used to get upset that Phil Cuzzy made that call and didn't check on the check swing. He's saying, well, how could you see that if you're looking at the ball?
I agree 100%. And if you ask me, that was not a swing right there.
That didn't look like it.
When I've been back there catching, you cannot concentrate on catching a ball and realize if a hitter has committed a swing.
That time they do check, and Randazzo punches him out for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning here in the fourth. We played 3.5 at Comerica Park, and the Tigers lead the Yankees 1-0. People's United Bank, see what know-how can do. By your Tri-State BMW centers. And by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. What do we got there? A little sausage or a hot dog with everything. The series had a little bit of everything so far, but it's just 1-0 here. Bottom of the fourth is Miguel Cabrera will lead off. Swing and a miss. Lincoln scoreboard 1-1-0 for the Tigers, 0-1-0 for the Yankees. With their win yesterday, the Yankees go over 500 for the first time in this young season. High fly ball, right field. Young drifts over and makes the play.
Before this series started, we talked about the Yankees last year really did a good job with Cabrera, and you have to say until this point in the series, they've held him down. 2 for 11 in the series after that at bat. You don't come back to Detroit anymore. You just want to get on that plane heading back home to New York with a win and knowing you did a good job against their best hitter.
Victor Martinez slices one the other way. Yankees shift for Martinez with 3 infielders on the right side.
Which is kind of surprising. I mean, Victor Martinez is a guy that will use the whole field. You see the outfield straight up, which a lot of balls he'll drive to left field or line drive. More of a pull hitter on the ground. See right there, he tried to shoot the ball to left field. That was an intentional swing. I mean, he's that good of a hitter where he can even early in the count, right? That ball's sinking away. Boom, let's just shoot it the other way.
So that's exhibit 9,000, that you could go the other way if you really want to.
Well, Victor Martinez, his whole career has been able to hit the ball all over the field from both sides of the plate. That's what makes him a 300 hitter.
And they ground it into the shift. 2 down.
You're starting to see some splits now from Tanaka. It's definitely getting better as this game is moving along. Great look at the grip, the spin, and the action down. Martinez way out in front.
Was still able to make contact with one hand off the bat. But you're right, Flash, just completely out of sync there. You don't see that very often. Victor Martinez.
Could not hold up.
Again, another good split.
I'll tell you, some of the best pitchers get through the first time, you know, not using some of their pitches, and then all of a sudden kind of break it out. Don't know if it was early in the game he couldn't find the grip on that, or if he just wanted to get through this lineup a few times before he broke it out. And Comerica Bank just blew their tarp open back there. Michael, did you see that?
Yeah, that's an ugly tear. That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, it did.
That is a deposit they did not want. How about that full body massage, Paul, for $29.95? That you should look into that.
Seems pretty cheap when the weather's 33 degrees, right? Seems like a bargain.
That's 1 hour too.
That'll get us to the 5th inning. Huh?
Under $30, amazing.
It's Midwest prices.
It is. I wonder if they deliver. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Martinez. Just missed. Nothing Tigers, bottom of the 4th inning, 4th game of a 4-game set. And the payoff. Drilled to left field. Going back is Gardner, turning, and he'll play it off the base of the wall. Fires it in. Martinez hustling. He's in there with a double.
You could tell the sound vault up in the zone. He finally missed up in the zone, and Martinez hammered it. The only question was he had so much topspin on it, it didn't get out of the ballpark. But you see a hanging slider of an uppercut.
Wow. Oh, yeah. We talked earlier in the series how he's changed his approach to go to right center, but when you throw a breaking ball, it just speeds you up a little bit and hammers it to left field.
That's got to upset a batter. You hit a ball that hard, and you really have to run hard to get your double.
Tell you what, he has definitely had that split finger working this pitch. A lot of movement down and away, down from the lefties. That ball just actually like just a hard sinker, just drops at the strike zone.
He's thrown 2 in a row now, and that one is probably as good of a pitch as you can throw. Brian McCann, do you go to a fastball to set up another split later on, or do you go 3 in a row?
Cespedes has really good plate coverage. I don't know that you try to dot the outside corner. Went back to the split finger, and a good one. Good job by Tanaka.
Well, we've got a pitcher's duel here on a cold afternoon in Detroit. It's 1-0 Tigers as we head to the 5th. It's 1-0 Tigers, and it has turned into a pitcher's duel. Sanchez came into this game struggling. Tanaka came into this game coming off a very good outing in St. Pete. The Bigelow T scoreboard, 1-0 Tigers. So here is Garrett Jones. Will be the bottom third of the Yankee order against Sanchez. That one is driven to left field. Cespedes is there and makes the play for the first out.
As exciting as that first inning was last night offensively for the Yankees, you just look like they're on their heels today. You don't see the offense breaking loose anytime soon, and it can happen quick. Somehow you got to get some runners on, get that big hit, give Tanaka a lead. Looks like he's finding that split finger.
Well, it's always tough. Is it the Yankees look flat offensively, or is Sanchez throwing that well? In my opinion, Sanchez, there's a lot there today.
Yeah, last inning, he almost went to nothing but that changeup, and before then it was the fastball. Everything's got movement. Even that pitch that's up a little bit is in off the plate. He hasn't missed out over the plate.
But you're seeing some Yankee hitters get jammed with 90, and it's because the first time through, the changeup you talked about, the good sinker away, the sliders that are in. Now all of a sudden he's straightening out a fastball at 90, and it's beating you.
Hammered to right field, but foul.
And that's when you, as a pitcher, you go back to back on pitches. Both of those inside fastballs, but neither of them missed out over the plate. Right. And you know, the only thing you can do as a hitter is you start to open up, and you do what Drew did, is you start to pull that ball foul. And then all of a sudden, you know, either that hard changeup or his slow changeup. He could go with either one right here. Another fastball.
If you're catching Sanchez today, I mean, you have so many weapons. He could be a different pitcher inning to inning. I mean, here you're seeing a guy going right at Drew with his fastball. He beat Jones with his fastball. The fourth inning, he was an off-speed pitcher.
And Drew down looking.
That was a breaking ball, I think. That went off speed, but that was a breaking ball. Drew didn't like it at all. Probably down, it looked like. Joe Girardi going to come out here and try to save his second baseman. Definitely a larger strike zone than we saw last night. See that slider, and then that ball's down. Not much you can do with it.
Catcher has to go down to a knee just to receive it.
Here's Gregorius. He walked in third and stole second. Odd to see Drew get that angry. He's usually very chill. One.
Remember the hitters and Drew a night ago, you know, a home run, couple line drives, and that's when, as a hitter, you're really seeing the ball good. You know the strike zone. Those are the at-bats you don't want taken away from you.
Fly ball, left center, hit it well, but run down by Gose. And the Yankees are retired in order. 1-2-3. We're halfway through. It's 1-0 Tigers.
Everything going. There's the grip on the slider. He has the slider going this afternoon. The two-seam fastball is going to run back to the inside corner. He has that going. And then the pitch that has shown up, the split finger, the middle of this ball game. A good one to Cespedes right there to get a strikeout. Things coming together for Tanaka.
All right, so we take it to the bottom of the fifth inning with the Tigers up 1-0. And it'll be the bottom third of the order against Tanaka. Avila looks a little bit like Kirk Gibson.
I could see that. bit.
Just a bit.
What a teammate Kirk Gibson was.
I can only imagine. He was, I mean, he was fun to watch from the other side. You almost wish you were a teammate with him. It's just like everything you want in a player, as far as how hard he played.
You know, when I'd been in the big leagues probably maybe a couple of years, but the day I felt like I belonged was when Kirk Gibson made a comment to me as we were walking out of the clubhouse at the old Tiger Stadium out to the field, and I was probably 10 feet in front of him, and he just said, "You'll never look back, will you?" And I turned around. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You'll never look back to the minor leagues. You're a big leaguer now."
Wow.
And that's when I walked out on that field and said, "You know what? He's right. Took a couple of years, but I finally feel that way."
Avila is out at first. He's godlike here in Detroit. Played for Michigan State and was part of that Sparky Anderson Tiger team and hit that big home run off a goose right there in the '84 World Series. And then he hit that home run for the Dodgers on one leg against Dennis Eckersley that changed an entire World Series.
I got to tell you, Michael, the highlights, they show a lot of them on the scoreboard here that is 45 degrees off as we see a little fly ball. But the old highlights at the old stadium, I miss the old stadium. There was so much history in old Tiger Stadium.
What do you think?
Yeah, not
They
bad.
look alike. But you could not have liked the clubhouse there.
No, it was just the whole thing when when you're walking into a stadium that, Ty Cobb and Al Kaline and guys like that had taken the field before you, it just it meant a lot, and it was a fun place to play. Boy, if you were in a pull mode, it was a fun place to hit too. Both the lines had those overhangs where, as a right fielder, you would go back on a ball, think you're going to catch it, and the overhang on the top deck was actually over the field. So you thought you had a play, and it would go into the upper deck.
The clubhouses were pretty much the size of a high school clubhouse, but they were able to do this in '84 where they started off 35-5. Gallon of gas was $1.10. First Apple computer sold a lot since then. Wow. Anyway, that clubhouse, after a tough loss, they had the old clubhouse guy Rip had all the food out there, and Billy Martin tipped over the food table, and Rip just cleaned it all up, put it back on, and people ate it.
Oh,
people ate it.
I had a Lou Piniella story like that. There's 2 outs. We'll see how far we get with it.
Go.
So we're in Cincinnati, and same kind of, just a tough loss, not even a playoff loss or anything. And we walk in, and I'm thinking, wow, we got a good spread tonight. Turkeys, whole turkeys on the table.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I heard Rand and Raven, and I see Lou come into the thing, and I look, and he punched the table. And as he does this, these turkeys are exploding in the air, right? And so we're all ducking, and I look over, and a turkey leg lands right on Billy Hatcher's plate. And as Lou walks out, I look over, Hatch just picks it up and starts eating like one of those Fred Flintstone drumsticks, just right onto his plate. Tell you, Flash, we watched 2 pitchers in the first inning last night struggling to throw anything. Where they wanted, what they want, anything. And you look at 2 pitchers right now, at this point in the game, it might change. 2 pitchers right now that are in total control of 3 pitches. And it's just such a difference in hitting when you're facing a guy that's confident and knows that he can throw a pitch at any time where he wants.
When we watched Tanaka in the first inning, I thought it might be one of those ball games. Looked like he wasn't comfortable, took forever, didn't have a split, didn't have a feel. 23 pitches in that first. Since then, he has figured it out, and the split finger has shown up.
Hits that one a long way to center field, the deepest part of the park, as Ellsbury runs it down. It's 420 to dead center, and that ate up a lot of it. 1-2-3 inning for Tanaka. We go to the 6th. We'll get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action and today's Major League Baseball games, plus all the latest rumors on the upcoming NFL draft. You can watch Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 on Fox Sports 1 or see it simulcast right here on Yes.
I tell you, some of the fans, they take that draft serious, man.
Oh,
they got their jerseys on and they're at the draft, and it's usually when the New York gets their draft, it's a big boo. It's not a big hooray, right?
It's in Chicago this year. A couple of big guys not showing up. Marcus Mariota will not be there. Jameis Winston will not be there.
How about the guys who get paid to break down the draft? I mean, it's a year-round process, right? You've been talking about it for months now.
Changes day by day.
A lot of mock drafts. See them every 2 weeks. And you know the GMs are not telling anybody the truth. They're not tipping their hand.
Well, I tell you what, if you look at drafts, I think baseball is even harder because, you're taking high school kids and trying to, say where they're going to be in 3 or 4 years. At least you've seen a lot of these kids at college, at high-end colleges, playing at a good level, where you take a high school kid who's 18 years old, how do you know where he's going to be when he's 23, 24? And we're not talking about, $10 you're putting in, millions of dollars.
I think it's the biggest crapshoot of all the sports, because you're really projecting a kid when he becomes a man and how he's going to handle using a wood bat and stuff like that. It's tough.
And I think the mental part of it, too, where baseball is every day and failure, and how do you deal with that, the mental toughness. You would have done well, Paul, as a football player. Go to the combine and bench press reps and all that stuff.
I played football for one reason. You had to play football to date a cheerleader in high school. That's the only reason I played it.
That one's looped to left field, and Castellanos can't get there, but it's foul.
I mean, you played in the day and the age of where in high school you played every sport. You played football, basketball, baseball. No?
Not me.
You just played baseball.
Basketball and
played hoops
baseball.
Too. Yeah, but now, I mean, even this day and age, the kids, they have to, declare what sport they're going to give all your time and effort to. It takes a lot of fun out of it.
Maybe that's why there's more Tommy John surgeries. Baseball year-round.
Ellsbury putting together a good at-bat.
But, back to the draft, I mean, look where the kids are drafted from. California, Texas, Florida. They play baseball year-round outside. I mean, here we are in Detroit. You know, I grew up in Ohio. We had 15, 18 games in the spring when the weather got okay before school was out. That was it. So you are at a disadvantage when you're playing in 40-degree weather on a wet field and playing down in Florida where you can play all year round.
Derek Jeter in Kalamazoo, right?
Did all right.
Did all right. I'd have to say that was a pretty easy scouting assignment, though.
And Ellsbury works a walk. Good at bat by Ellsbury. And now a threat to go.
You get the feeling the Yankees are going to have to try to manufacture a run here. Really, the only other opportunity they had off of Sanchez, Carlos Beltran with 2 outs, could not come through. Try something here, maybe a little hit and run, maybe a little bunt, straight steal.
Also realize as a hitter, with a man on first base, you know, you're going to see more fastballs, and you know he's been so good with that changeup today. You look for something, especially as a lefty. You know, you look something sinker away and just hammer it to left field.
Too early in the game here to bunt, or do you just allow Ellsbury to go?
You know what? In a one-run game, the way he's been throwing the ball, I think Brett Gardner is pretty good at putting the ball in play. Not going to double him up very often. I think you let him swing away.
Boy, third baseman way in on the grass.
Expecting the bunt. I'll tell you one thing, a sinker away is going to go flying by his ear.
Slap it right by him, yeah.
That's what he's getting.
(0-1).
Sanchez real quick down the hill there, a little slide step. Thinking that Ellsbury is probably going to be running at some point.
How's your scouting report on Avila? Is he a good thrower?
Average. Okay. Average. Probably a tick below average.
So McCann, the backup, is the better catcher. McCann made some good throws the other night.
See Sanchez tough to run on though, so quick down the mound. Also throwing the timing off of Brett Gardner at the plate.
I'll tell you what, I would not be, if I'm a manager, would not be scared to hit and run right here. Everything's going away. Gardner can put the ball in play to the left side. You get something going. And also, you know, Ellsbury can.
Runner goes. He double clutched, and in there is Ellsbury with the stolen base.
Ellsbury picked the right pitch too. Sanchez kind of did that little Louis Tion spin and went down the mound. Up and away, a perfect pitch for a catcher to throw. You see this time, he didn't do the slide step. He did it with the regular delivery, and Ellsbury picked the right pitch.
All of a sudden, your at-bat changes. You go from shooting the ball to left, and now you want to get around it and pull it. Make sure that you get Ellsbury over to third. See how Sanchez's pitching has changed. Now it's inside, or was away.
Be tough pitch selection right here. The changeup is one of his best pitches. But to your point, Paul, if Brett Gardner hits that changeup, most likely he's going to be out front, roll it over, and advance the runner.
And he advances the runner. Nice job by Gardner. So Ellsbury's at third with one man out, and it's a 1-0 game. Good at bat for Gardner.
Yeah, it was a good at bat. You see that, you're frustrated there because you get the job done, but it wasn't just a 14 hopper to the second baseman. That ball was hit hard. He got a good pitch to hit. He hammered it to the right side. Now it's important that Beltran really dig in. And, if you're struggling with getting runs in, and especially now, I think he become very aggressive early in the count. He comes into this at bat with 2 strikeouts. You want to get this done early. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you've got 2 strikes and he can make his pitch.
Infield playing back. I think middle of the field, ground ball, fly ball will get the job done.
One and one. Alex Wilson is up.
I'll tell you one thing. If you're Joe Girardi, you got to feel if you tie this game up and get into their bullpen, you definitely have an advantage.
Well, yesterday Price got knocked out in the 3rd inning with 1 out. So Alex Wilson was called up today just to strengthen their bullpen. They sent down the left-hander Ian Kroll so Wilson could give them some length. Sanchez has pitched well, but you see his pitch count.
This threw back-to-back fastballs to Carlos Beltran. I would not expect a 3rd one in a row here. I would think he would go off speed. We'll see. Came right at him.
Again, here's where that voice in the side of your head that starts talking to you. This ball's in. Good pitch to hit. Just kind of came around it. Now you're in that 2-strike position where if he makes that good pitch, you're looking at 3 strikeouts and not tying this game up. Struggling a little bit, as a hitter. You want to get this job done before you get to this count. You go again.
Boy, Beltran has really struggled. And that was an opportunity, obviously, to tie the game. He has struck out 3 times today.
Well, you think back, you swung and missed at the changeup in the dirt, but it's the pitches before. There was a fastball down the middle earlier that he took, and then he was a little quick with the fastball and pulled it. And now you get the changeup down, and you swing right over the top.
Now here's McCann now. And Ellsbury leads off 3rd. That was a quick windup, and that should be a balk. Because he was going from the windup, and everybody from the Yankees is saying that's a balk.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And the 3rd base umpire, Jerry Davis, said that was a balk. And you could see that Ellsbury deked him into doing that. For some reason, Sanchez was working from the full windup with the speedy Ellsbury at 3rd, so the game is tied at 1.
I'll tell you what, this might be the biggest play of the game right now, and that is a balk. He came from a windup, and I don't know what caused it. Did Ellsbury have a false break? But that's an easy way to tie this game up.
Right there, he got nervous when he saw Ellsbury coming down the line.
Now, how can the umpires not call that right away? Yeah. It took for the Yankees to complain that Jerry Davis finally came over and said, yeah, it was a balk. He doesn't make the call right away. Cuzzy behind the plate doesn't make any call.
That was almost handled like a pitch out, which it wasn't. He got right on top of home plate. There's no way McCann could have even swung the bat. I think the only problem that Ausmus has is why did it take so long to call? I think he's been tossed. Oh, yeah, he's been thrown out. So a tie game, 1-1. We've heard enough.
Well, I'm sure there was a magic word in there because it happened quick when he was walking away. I think Brad Ausmus realized how big a play that was.
And now Jerry Davis is calling the crew to get together. I'll tell you what, John, just piggybacking on what you said, it's inconceivable. Everyone in this ballpark knew that was a balk. The Yankees had to scream it that Jerry Davis just slowly decided to call it a balk. Inconceivable he didn't call it right away.
Phil Cuzzy behind the plate looking right at him. And he's not going to react.
McCann saying that's a balk. The Yankee dugout screaming that's a balk.
I tell you what, that's a big play in this game. I mean, Sanchez had pitched his way with a huge strikeout with Beltran to get out of this inning.
And you bring up a great point, too. The Yankee bullpen. Miller didn't pitch yesterday. Betances. Much stronger pen than the Tigers have.
That one's popped up. That is a long run for Perez, and he makes the play for the final out. But the Yankees tied the score. Little ball, a walk, a stolen base, hit to the right side, move him to third, and then balked him home. 1-1, we go to the bottom of the sixth. Now, obviously, Ellsbury goaded Sanchez into the balk, but you could see that McCann helped as well, screaming balk, then making the umpire pay attention to it more, and finally it was called by Jerry Davis, so you have to give Brian McCann a little bit of an assist.
Well, you give Headley, who was on deck, some credit because he was raising his arms and arguing. Robbie Thompson, the third base coach, was on top of it. So you're right, all those guys deserve some credit.
Pitch outside to Anthony Gose, so tie game here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Well, the entire Yankee bench was certainly on their toes with that. And the reason it's a balk is he did not make contact, or he lost contact with the rubber. You could speed up if you'd like, but you can't lose contact with the rubber, and once he did that, it becomes a balk. High fly ball, long run for Gardner, and he can't make the play.
Those low fences down the line, those are tough plays for outfielders because you really don't have sight of it, and you know where you're going to hit something, plus the fans.
Worry about stepping on that concrete too.
end up being tough plays. And, you know, Yankee Stadium, there's not much room. And here you have a lot of room, so you get a lot of speed going. Say Brett Gardner's case. A little beer all over you.
And yes, Mo, the beverage takes a long time to come down. And that's brought to you by your Tri-State Mercedes-Benz dealers. John, what was your thought when you had a runner at third base and 2 outs? Did you try to convince the pitcher not to go to a windup?
No, I was totally on what he wanted to do.
Okay.
Windup or out of the stretch. Obviously, out of the windup, you want to check the runner and make sure that they're frozen at third base before you start your delivery.
It's amazing because Ellsbury did what 100 players do, and that's try to stomp down the line and get the pitcher's attention, and for the most part it never works, but it worked there. And to tell you that how big that run is to tie this game up the way Tanaka's throwing the ball.
Well, that's Ellsbury's run for sure. A good at bat to work a walk, a stolen base, pick the right pitch, move to third on Gardner's ground ball, and then force Sanchez to balk. Here's the 3-2 to Ghosts. 92 miles an hour, so Tanaka is dealing right now. One away.
Well, certain guys you've got to challenge, and right there, leadoff hitter, he went right after him. Fastball right down the middle. Not where he wanted it, but he got that strikeout.
Well, when you hear all the time, he's losing velocity, he's losing velocity. That was a hitter's count, and he just came right at him, a couple of fastballs, and said, my fastball's good enough to throw it right by you, and he did.
I think he's one of those pitchers, too, that keeps that, that really, really 93, 94 when he needs it. Doesn't need to throw it every single pitch. Look at the stats of this series. Kinsler's stats don't light you, but he's been swinging the bat well. A dangerous hitter right now. He's going to hit it hard somewhere. Always hated to be out in right field and know that a guy that was kind of due to do something come up in these close games has been hitting the ball hard, not getting any hits.
You can almost say that about the whole Tiger lineup, right? Yankees have done a great job in this series. Yankee pitchers. You almost don't want to acknowledge it. Just try to get out of here with a win and move on. I always worried about the third time through a lineup, and this is the first time Tanaka is facing the Tigers. There are only 2 batters in the lineup who had faced him before, Cespedes and Ghosts. You got a powerful lineup. You should have the advantage the first and second time through, but then you figure their hitters will get a better feel on release point, what Tanaka's throwing.
There's that 93. You go for the strikeout. That's not strike one. That's a strikeout fastball where you just a little bit extra on it. A lot of the plate on that one. Kinsler had a good hack at it. Little guy at second baseman doesn't get cheated.
No, he doesn't.
Tanaka deals the 2-2. Still 2-2.
A little 2-part swing, huh? A little mechanical.
Yeah, he actually steps back instead of forward, and kind of back legs everything. That's why he has the ability to drive the ball. By that little pivot on his front foot, it enables him to not lunge and not get out there. Kind of keep your weight back, see the ball a little bit longer.
Here's the 2-2. Work the count full.
Those are the pitches you take when you stay back. You know, you don't get out in front where you have to make up your mind a little quicker. You know, you move a little bit towards the pitcher. It's amazing how much quicker the ball gets there. You have to make that decision too quick. You end up swinging a bad strike or bad balls.
Still 3-2. Now Kinsler has an advantage on a 3-2 pitch, and the guys talked about it last night. With the guy hitting behind you, they're not walking you, so you know you're going to get something in the strike zone. You don't have to chase out of the strike zone. Popped up. Let's see if it stays in play. Jones makes the play for the second out.
Well, you've noticed all the foul balls down the first baseline this series have all come back to the field, where the foul balls to the other side kind of blow into the stands, and you see, thinks it's going to be and the ball just kind of comes back to the fielder. Actually, Cabrera overran a couple. Talk about the low stands and the open outfield where the wind really affects the ball more so than some of the big circular stadiums.
And Cabrera hits a fly ball to right. Young is there and puts it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. Tanaka has retired 7 in a row. Pitchers duel in Detroit. 1-1 game as we head to the 7th. Collectibles of the season. It's Masahiro Tanaka bobblehead night, the first one in the 2015 collectible series presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We start the 7th inning. Chase Headley takes a ball from Sanchez. 1-1 game. Tanaka, 6 innings, 2 hits, just 1 run, struck out 6, walked 1. Sanchez, 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Yankees only hit Chris Young, a 2-out single in the 2nd. 3-1.
Well, 105 pitches for Sanchez now.
Yeah, you're definitely early in the year looking at probably his last inning.
Well, I think the bullpen problems that they have had. All forward to Headley. Tigers going to try to stretch him out as much as they can.
Well, that's the weakness of this team. It really is. Their bullpen is going to be an issue all year. And then you look at the other contenders in the division, their bullpens are just simply better, but they might not be as good otherwise. Here's Young, the only hit in the game for the Yankees. A clean single to left in the second. Fouls that one back.
Young, when he's swinging the bat now, as good as he is, there's really no thought process. He's going up there, he's looking for the pitch out over the plate, swinging at strikes. Where you look at Beltran, and it looks like, you know, he's struggling a little bit. A lot of things are going on during the at bat, trying to adjust, trying not to swing at too many pitches, and then you get yourself in a hole, and then you end up giving that pitcher an opportunity to strike you out. Game seems so much simpler when things are going well, huh, Flash?
And you know what, as a hitter, you're thinking to yourself, boy, I just want to continue this as long as I can, because you know it's not going to continue, or you don't think it's going to continue for the whole year. You certainly hope it does.
That's why I used to always, it was kind of a weird thing that I always hated for people. Michael, you could attest to this when you would come in, you know, you were so hot. You're hot because if you're hot, it has to end.
It has to end.
You know, you used to always just think about it. You know, I'm having good bats. I can continue to have good at bats. But, you know, if you're hot, you're a really hot hitter, that means that you're going to become cold at some point. And I hated to think of it that way.
Missed outside.
Now, were you the type of hitter that if it might take like one pitch or one swing where it didn't feel right, and you'd go, uh-oh?
It wasn't more of a swing, but it could definitely be an at bat or a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you could come in just ripping everything, and all of a sudden you have a couple bad at bats, and like, oh, what's happening there? Yeah, something's not right.
Struck him out. Fastball upstairs. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, a pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
The good old widget.
The widget.
I tell you, that's streaming. It's unbelievable. I mean, I would obviously say one of my sons were playing basketball. You can stream these games. You can watch college games. You can watch anything.
It's a different world. When we grew up, you'd have to put the Reynolds wrap on the rabbit ears to try to get good
and
receptions.
I was the youngest, so I was always going up there to wrap it around the rabbit ears too. Bigger brothers would just stand up and say, "Hey, go."
So you were the remote, you were the first remote control.
Absolutely.
You're saying you went up to the roof?
No, the ones on the TV set.
Oh, just get up off the couch.
Yeah, my brothers were. Aluminum foil on the rabbit ears.
It
Picture came in
worked like
better.
a charm. And you only had like 5 channels, and now
3.
You had 3.
Yeah. Well, you had 4. You had a PBS, NBC, ABC, and CBS. That was it.
Nice block by Avila, but going to second is Headley, and he's going to make it. Heads up base running by Headley. Saw the ball just trickle away just a bit and took off for second.
Yeah, as a base runner at first base, I mean, your only job is to anticipate that ball in the dirt. And I tell you, when you see it, 9 times out of 10, there's no way that catcher can locate the ball, come up with it, and make a good throw. The chances are when it's in the dirt and it gets away, go.
Well, Gene Lamont, who is taking over as the acting manager with Ausmus thrown out, he has just signaled to the bullpen with a 1-1 count on Jones and the go-ahead run at second. He wants to bring in the left-hander, to face Garrett Jones. So Lamont makes the change. Sanchez is done, and Lamont makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Good performance by Sanchez. Let's see how the bullpen does now. By Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. Jacob deGrom off to a good start. Last year's National League Rookie of the Year, 2-1, 0.93. Michael Pineda has not pitched as well as last year, but still 2-0 with a 5 ERA. And our coverage is going to start at Yes at 6 o'clock. And then game time from the stadium will be right around 7:07. All right, so Tom Gorzolani comes on to face Garrett Jones with a 1-1 count. Time called. Now Girardi does have a loaded bench today. He's got Teixeira, a switch hitter, and then A-Rod, Petit, and Murphy from the right side. 1-2.
5 lefties in a row for the Yankees. Jones, Drew, Gregorius, Ellsbury, Gardner.
Well, the Yankee lineup is so lefty-laden that they are susceptible to a lefty coming out of the bullpen. It's just hard for Joe Girardi to stagger them. There's not enough righties, especially when you're sitting Alex Rodriguez. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Jones down on strikes. 2 away. So Sanchez will not be able to win this game. The runner at second is his responsibility, so he can still lose it. And here's Stephen Drew. Big breaking ball missed outside. Drew against Sanchez, grounded to second and struck out looking. Did not like the called third strike in the 5th inning. Joe Girardi had to run out of the dugout before he got run by Phil Cuzzi. Opportunity to give the Yankees the lead right here. Headley leads off second with 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th. What do you think, Paul? Gorzolani looks tough on lefties?
Yeah, he does. He has that sidearm release, and he's throwing a big breaking ball with it today. I think you've seen him a few times in this series, so you start to get used to it, but definitely tough guy to see from the left side.
Two and one.
Drew has better numbers against lefties this year, 273 as opposed to 161. But it doesn't look to me to be a lefty that goes the other way against left-handers. Still keeps his approach, looks for something to pull.
Big thing is he'll watch that front shoulder. He stays in there. A lot easier to shoot that ball to left.
And the 3-1. Missed outside, so Drew works a walk. And that's going to bring up Gregorius, and he's called back by Joe Girardi. And they're going to send up Mark Teixeira to pinch hit for Gregorius.
Mark Teixeira coming off the bench has had a good series. You look at last night, as a lefty, went deep for his second home run of the series. I'll tell you what, you're always comfortable with Mark Teixeira in the run scoring, producing, at bats. This is what he does. Not used to really coming off the bench a lot. Those everyday guys, but I'll tell you what, it's nice to have him up there at this point.
Right-handed, he's hitting 300 this year with 3 of his 5 home runs. First and second, 2 outs. We're in the 7th. Gorzolani deals, and a strike to Teixeira.
From the right side, Mark a little bit more apt to go the other way. We saw that earlier in the series from the right side. Shot a double down the right field line.
Missed outside, 1-1. Big spot in this game as the Yankees finally get into the Tigers bullpen. Probably their most reliable reliever would be Soria, their closer. Yankees have just 1 hit in this game, but it's tied 1-1. Breaking ball drops inside, 2-1. Two-one pitch in the dirt. 3-1. On deck is Ellsbury.
As a pinch hitter, the best thing you can do is go up there and see as many pitches as you can to get into a bat. And now you've seen 4 pitches. You've seen his release point. You've seen his fastball. You've seen his breaking ball. And now you're in a hitter's count.
Is this a David Cone situation? Third base is open. You still have a base open here. Be careful.
Possibly. I mean, you've got a guy that can hurt you, and you've got a left-hander on deck. So, I think you try to make a good pitch. You don't just intentionally walk him. But remember, this is a 1-run game.
High fly ball, right field. J.D. Martinez back. Still back, and right in front of the track, he makes the play for the final out of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left. Time for the 7th inning stretch. team that's an outstanding offensive club. You know, you could write off some of it against the Rays, John, but you can't write it off against the Tigers, who can hit with anybody.
No, and I think he's made some adjustments during this ball game. We talked about the first inning. Maybe he looked a little bit mechanical, didn't look 100% comfortable. Now all of a sudden he's rolling. Pitch count's in good shape.
Changes defensively for the Yankees. Teixeira takes over at first. Gregorio Petit will be the second baseman. Drew moves from second to short to replace Gregorius, who Teixeira had pinch hit for. And Petit will be batting in Jones' spot in the order. Shift is on for Victor Martinez. 3 infielders on the right side. Only Headley on the left side for the Yanks. The 0-1. Grounded into the shift. Petit to first. 1 away. Let's go back to the studio. Bob Lorenz has more information. Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray on the hill. Huh?
Nice. So if the Mets hold on there, they will take an 11-game winning streak into the series at Yankee Stadium. That one is hammered to left field off the bat of J.D. Martinez, and it'll go to the wall. Martinez picks up his second double of the afternoon. So he has 2 of the 3 hits against Tanaka.
Both of them been hit hard, too. Martinez, if you make a mistake, this is split finger, and you see this doesn't have a lot of movement. Both of these balls were just lucky enough for Tanaka, not elevated where they'd be out of the ballpark, kept them in there.
Both of them were off-speed pitches. A slider the last at bat, the split finger there.
Well, here's Cespedes, a fly ball to left and a strikeout. He's a run producer. He has 13 ribbies. Petit trying to check Martinez at second, keep him close.
Good play by McCann, and boy, does that change this at bat. That ball goes to the screen. Now you got 1 out man on third. Split fingers in the dirt. You got over there good, huh, Flash?
You know, when you call a split, you're expecting it to be in the dirt, but you don't know which side of the plate it's going to be on. You can't predict like you would be able to with a breaking ball. Wilson and Betances getting loose. So to your point, good play making the play, but also shifting to his right. I'd be careful right here. Obviously a tie ball game. First base is open. Avila coming up next, a catcher who does not run well.
I agree. He scares me as a as a hitter. He's been hot. He's driven in a lot of runs lately. So you just don't want to give him something he can get his arms out and just hammer.
That one's popped up on the right side and lands in the Yankee dugout, and then bounces back into the stands.
If you watch that swing, I mean, everything he puts into it, his whole body's involved. Nothing's left back.
You said trying to tie him up so he can't get extended. As it's a catcher, you call that fastball in and you're thinking, all right, this is either going to tie him up, or if it's out over the plate, it could end up in the seats. Tanaka executed the pitch with location.
That's the only problem as a catcher. You have an idea what you want to do, but the location you can't always force. I mean, if the ball gets where it's supposed to, like it did, and it was a great call.
2-2.
Exactly what we're talking about.
Look at his reaction. He knew how dangerous that was to miss out over the plate. He missed completely against the clay. And just watch his reaction at the end. Knows he missed it. Knows this is a close game, that one pitch can decide the outcome. Cespedes had a good pitch to hit there.
That is the I just got away with one look. The 2-2. That one's in the dirt. 3-2 on Cespedes.
I thought this was a tough time to hit, Flash. First base is open. You've got a guy that, in the back of your mind, you don't know if he's going to come after you, if he's going to throw a split finger in the dirt. So you're kind of 50-50 whether you want to be aggressive or you just. It's just, to me, a tough time for a hitter to hit.
I go back to my young days in the minor leagues when they're talking to you about calling a game, and a lot of catching instructors will say, if you call a pitch 2-2, you got to call it 3-2. He threw the split 2-2. You can throw the same thing 3-2.
He did, and he bounced it, and it's a walk. So first and second, one man out, and Avila coming up, and it looks like that will do it for Tanaka. Joe Girardi signals for the left-hander, so he'll call on Wilson, and Tanaka's pitched a very nice game. He's going to leave with a 1-1 game in hand, but runners on first and second are certainly his responsibility. Manager takes a look back at the week that was, including a recap of round one of the Subway Series. It's all new Sunday at 7:30, and it's only on Yes. So Girardi brings in the left-hander with the left-hander Avila due up, but quickly the Tigers will counter, and they'll send up James McCann, their right-handed hitting catcher.
Yeah, it's a little different club this year here in Detroit, that Avila's not going to get all the at-bats and play every day, even when there's a left-handed pitcher out there. James McCann comes up to the plate with an opportunity.
That's what Tanaka did today. 94 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. The last walk got him taken out of the game. So Wilson against McCann. 1-0.
Boy, it looked like Tanaka missed with that one fastball, and he just did not trust himself to make perfect pitches to Cespedes, and then he went to the split finger, 2 of them in the dirt. Don't know that he had the feeling that that was going to be his last hitter if he pitched around him.
There's a strike. I wonder that, Paul. Would he have thrown a different pitch if he thought he was coming out on a walk?
And sometimes I think pitchers, set up certain at bats, certain innings, you know, they're not going to give in, and then, you know, it ends up being a matchup thing where you can bring a good lefty in from the bullpen.
Grounded and grabbed there by Headley. He fires to second, and they get the out. Nice pick there by Petit. He saved an error for Headley, and Headley made a nice play, grabbing the ground ball down the line, saved a run.
Boy, night and day from where the Yankees were defensively earlier in the year, and I mean, this ball's hit hard. Good reaction. Good job, Michael. You said it, to pick it at second.
Well, now with Castellanos due up, Joe's going to go to the right-hander, Betances. And we'll step aside again. Big moment in this game, bottom of the 7th. First and third, 2 men out, game tied at 1. Betances coming on. Bios next pregame right here on Yes. Last time we saw Betances, it was filthy. His spike curve was unbelievable, guys.
Yeah, it's the best we have seen it all year, and you can tell by the flight of the ball, but also the swings and the weak swings against the power curveball.
And that was Tuesday night, and that was the best he's looked all year. And they need another powerful performance here. First and third, 2 men out. 1-1 game. Castellanos against Betances. Castellanos 0 for 2 against Tanaka. Pitch is high, 1-0.
A lot of pressure on Brian McCann behind the plate, obviously with a runner at third, tie ball game. You call that spike curveball from Betances, you better be ready to block it.
Drops that one in there for a strike.
A lot of confidence in that curveball. I mean, you come out of the bullpen, first one you really miss bad with, go right back to it, strike one.
Two and 1 to Castellanos. On deck is Hernan Perez.
Almost think you'd have to go to a fastball here, but you don't know.
Loves his breaking ball this year.
Yeah, he surely does.
Throwing it a lot.
There's 4 in a row there. That ball out of the strike zone. Trying to stay inside of it and shoot it to right. So 5 in a row here.
I'd like to see him try to sneak a fastball in there, and then if you miss, you go with a curveball again. Whoa, whoa, what a play.
Some play by McCann saved a run.
That's the old, what, 50-footer. Not even a 56-footer.
Yeah, the pitcher says, I got 2 strikes. I'm going to add on and throw a nastier one, and he spikes it. Great play by McCann.
That ball hit in the dirt just in front of the grass. I mean, way the heck out there.
So the runner at first will go. That'll be McCann. Staying put will be Martinez at third. The 3-2. High pop-up. Right side. Teixeira makes the play, and Betances comes on and does the job, and the game remains tied. Good one here in Detroit. We're taking it to the 8th. Well, it was very interesting. Every pitch Betances threw was a breaking ball to Castellanos, who finally popped up the final one. The fastball is not what it was last year. Last year he would flirt with triple digits. This year he's about 93, 94. So I don't think you could see by his pitch selection he trusts the curve much more than the fastball.
You wonder if it's only the velocity, or maybe he trusted he could throw his curveball for strikes better than the fastball.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury, who pretty much manufactured the Yankees' only run in the 6th inning. He walked, stole the second base, then moved to third on Gardner's ground ball to the right side, and then scored on a walk, which he caused as he darted down third. Anibal Sanchez was in the middle of a windup and stepped off the rubber and hurried his throw. And after some kind of baffling delays by the umpire, finally Jerry Davis called balk. Ellsbury scored, and that's the Yankees' run. It's 1-1 here in the 8th. That one is driven into left center field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Ellsbury is going for 2. The throw, not in time. A leadoff double for Ellsbury, who was looking double right out of the box.
Really did. Took the ball the other way off a lefty and knew he didn't drill it. Kind of got in on him a little bit. But that gives you a little more time. Good decision. Go for it. Make him make a perfect throw to throw you out. Kind of a good hook slide away from the play. Good aggressive play by Ellsbury.
Well, that slide is somewhat reminiscent of your 1997 slide in Game 5 against the Indians.
Doesn't feel too good, I tell you. Because as you're going away, you've got to hook something onto that bag, and it usually ends up being a thumb or a finger.
Here's Gardner. And he pushes the bunt to third, and it kicks foul.
Again, your job here, you know, you can bunt it hard, make the third baseman feel that, but just got a bad roll off that grass there. Almost a point where, you know, you can fake bunt, bring that third baseman in and let Ellsbury just take off, but it's kind of a dangerous play. But every once in a while as a manager you want to gamble, right?
How about you take the bunt off here and let him swing away, try to advance him pulling the ball. He did it his last at bat.
Yeah, these are options you get.
There's a bunt, so he's tagged out by Cabrera. The sacrifice successful as Ellsbury moves to third.
Usually, you know, when you're up in this position, you see this curveball actually got in on it. He just laid it down softly to the first baseman. But, I mean, they'll give you the option. Get him over. Whether you want to swing it or bunt it, get him over. And Brett Gardner, is as much speed as he has, you know, if you make a good bunt. See Carlos Beltran, after 3 strikeouts today, getting the intentional walk from the lefty.
Set up the double play with Brian McCann on deck.
This will be ball 3. And McCann will call for the intentional ball 4. So Beltran walks, and that does bring up McCann. Wilson and Chamberlain, they've been throwing, so they're ready out there. McCann stands in front of the plate giving signals. One game, top of the 8th inning. Gorzelani sets. And the pitch to McCann. Breaking ball misses outside.
I tell you, Gorzelani against the lefties, man, you're gonna get a curveball. So, you know, if I'm hitting here, I'm looking away. I'm looking for a curveball that's up in the zone that I can shoot to left field. Dangerous thing is to roll over something. That becomes a double play.
And that one is off the glove of Cabrera. A run will score, moving to second as Beltran scoring as Ellsbury, and the Yankees take a 2-1 lead. And Cabrera's got his hands on his knees, knowing if he had fielded it cleanly, possibility of a double play.
And McCann hits this ball hard and pulls it. Tigers were not shifting at all. Had to be unusual for McCann to look out there and not see the shift. He comes up with that clean. That's a double play.
You hear the sound. He hit it pretty hard. Not a lot of time to react when you're the first baseman coming off the bag in that position, but definitely a double play if he does come up with it.
Pitch to Headley is up and away. So the Yankees have their first lead of the afternoon. They're up 2-1 on just 2 hits. We're in the 8th inning. So you can't assume the double play, so that's an RBI for McCann, his 8th of the year. One. Chases away, 1-2. Headley struck out twice today and walked once.
He also made that great play in the field. You kind of forget about things defensively, but boy, that was a huge play. Knocking it down, getting the force at second.
Swing and a miss. But the Yankees take the lead. And again, Jacoby Ellsbury, hustle double, move to third, scores on the ground ball. It's 2-1 Ellsbury over the Tigers. For the Tigers, McCann, an RBI groundout. He was also at the plate when Sanchez balked home a run. Tanaka pitched well. Sanchez also pitched well, but right now the Yankees lead 2-1. Game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. All right, we go to the bottom of the 8th. Batanz is still on, and he throws a fastball to Perez for a strike. Now you talk about, Paul, how the play by Headley will get swallowed up by other things. Another thing that could be forgotten is the hustle double by Ellsbury. A lot of guys just take that single and start the inning, but he's running hard out of the box, and he forced the issue against the defense and put himself in position.
Yeah, you got to know your ballparks, you got to know your speed. I mean, Ellsbury, that's part of his game. And then, the big gaps, big field, a little extra time as a runner to get to second. I loved it. I mean, it took a perfect throw to get him. He didn't get it, made a good slide, set up the inning. Sets up a good inning for Batanz's first strikeout.
And he threw 98 miles an hour on this fastball. So maybe the fastball's coming back to go along with that nasty breaking ball.
Paul, you mentioned that play by Headley, though, and it made me think these are the types of games that the Yankees were talking about in spring training they were going to win. Good defense that takes away runs, and the bullpen was going to be the strength of your club.
If you take away runs, you don't have to score as many, and that's been the question. And it doesn't look much in slow motion, but that ball was hammered, and it hit hard in a time in a pressure situation where, if it goes off the heel of his glove or gets through, it's a completely different game at this point. To see after that, the big out he gets in are all curveballs. Now he's come in and he's established his fastball too.
Chop back to the mound. Batanz fires a fastball, and they get ghost for the second out.
That was 94 right there.
Well, you can laugh about it now because the play was executed, but that's dangerous for a first baseman when the throw is up the line, a runner's coming down. Kansas gets off the mound, fields it cleanly, the strong throw, and Mark Teixeira able to pull the glove back before there was some major contact, still a little bit of contact.
Hard to pull that glove back when you're receiving just a missile from the pitcher trying to, take your hand into him.
And Kinsler takes a strike. Kinsler 0 for 3 today. Yankees lead 2-1, bottom of the 8th. And a strike. There's the breaking ball.
Kinsler was one of those highlights we showed about Batanzas with one of those swings the other night. There's another curveball. He's not picking up that curveball from Batanzas. Two-to-run game. Batanzas got his stuff, but even if you get through this inning right here, get Kinsler out. Miller comes in the 9th, and look what you have. You've got Cabrera, Martinez, Cespedes.
Does Miller come in the 9th? That's a question. Right, you got Cabrera hitting right-handed, Martinez a switch hitter, J.D. Martinez a right-handed hitter.
Yeah, I think that Batanzas is coming in the 7th. Pitching the 7th and the getting an out in the 7th and the 8th, and with a game tomorrow, I think that you're splitting up your bullpen.
2-2. Check swing. They check with the first base umpire. Randazzo said no, he did not go.
Really need that man coming up with an opportunity with a runner on base.
Swing and a miss. 97 upstairs. An impressive inning for Betances as he retires the Tigers in order, overwhelms them. 1, 2, 3. Post game. After the final out, Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry put a bow on this 4-game set and look ahead to tomorrow's Subway Series. And Meredith Marakovich will be in the clubhouse. It's all coming up right here on Yes. John, I know it's early, but that was vintage Betances from 2014.
Yeah, we were talking about throwing all the breaking balls. Well, now in the 8th inning, he comes out with that fastball, blowing some people away. And Jabba Chamberlain in the game now. You see the numbers. Off to a decent start.
I tell you what, numbers sometimes are deceiving because Jabba, we've seen him, 2 appearances here, and he's given up 4 or 5 just hard hit balls. One of them a double play off Ellsbury, but just hammered. Sometimes pitchers, you know, they get outs. They're not always pretty.
I thought you brought up a real good point to ponder, John, earlier. The way he's pitching. Do you let him pitch the 9th? Because Girardi has said, I really don't have a closer. I match up. Well, if you're going to match up, then you'd have to leave Betances in at least for the first batter.
I would leave him in for Cabrera, no doubt. If you want to bring Miller in for the switch hitting Victor Martinez, all right.
Another consideration is if he pitches too much in the 9th inning, throws too many pitches, is he available tomorrow in the Met game? Count 0-2 on Young against Jabba. Young 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts. Betances has thrown 18 pitches in an inning and a third.
Obviously love to add on a couple of runs here, at least one with Miguel Cabrera. The Yankees have done such a good job with him for 4 games. He's leading off the 9th inning in a 1-run game at this point. These get some bad thoughts start going through your head.
And that one is hammered to left, but a backhanded stab by Cespedes.
Again, another play that looks like a pretty good play, but boy, if you're out there with that sinking line drive to your backhand, that is a tough play for a left fielder. Ball's got a lot of movement at the end. You've got to reach across your body full speed.
And Jabba Chamberlain standing out on the mound again, Paul, saying, I got it going on. Hit some rockets right at people.
Throwing those atom balls. They get hit hard, but they're right at him.
And that one is lined down the left field line. It's a base hit. That's off the arm of Cespedes, as Petit is going to go for 2, and he's going to make it.
Tell you what, it has a lot to do with who's in the mound, because you see the last couple innings, better swings from the Yankees, more aggressive. So Sanchez had a lot to do with those zeros he was putting up early. Cespedes get over there, kind of ricochet off, probably didn't matter either way. Petit going in for a double. All of a sudden it's like, come here.
That scored a straight double despite the bobble. 2-1 Yanks. And Drew hits a high fly ball to right field. J.D. Martinez settles underneath, makes the play. Tagging is Petit just to draw the throw. And he throws behind him.
Martinez, pretty good arm. He's behind it, and a lot of times as an outfielder you don't really know if they're going or not, but it's just a good time to practice on your throws. Make sure you hit your cutoff man. In this day and age, you don't take a lot of infield, if ever. A lot of times the throws that you make in the game are the only time you make them. Used to like infield, Flash?
I liked it when I was in the minor leagues, because that was the one thing I could really do, was throw. So you used to take infield so the scouts a lot of times could watch it. So I'd say, you know what, I'm auditioning. I'm auditioning. And then once I got to the big leagues, you know what, I didn't like getting my arm going, sitting for 45 minutes, and then having to crank it up again.
Yeah. Does anybody take infield anymore?
I just saw that the Red Sox took infield yesterday down at Tropicana Field.
Once in a while, it's not a bad idea, and I know the veteran players, and I was at that point sometimes, don't like it all the time, but sometimes you need to work on stuff, work on those throws from the outfield. But you're right, when you're the home team and you take batting practice, and then you go sit for an hour, and then you got to come back out, get loose, and then go back in and sit for another 40 minutes, it's kind of hard sometimes.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. 1-2 on Teixeira. Teixeira pinch hit in the 7th inning. Hit a fly ball to fairly deep right to end the inning. Yankees had runners on first and second with 2 outs when he pinch hit for Gregorius, but he stayed in the game. Strike 3. Teixeira down looking. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Can the Yankees hold on? They're up 2-1. or your local dealer today. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Which is very clearly his closure, because the matchup would scream that you keep Betances in, at least for the first batter.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, Dellin Betances against Cabrera 0 for 3 in his career. Andrew Miller has faced Cabrera twice, 2 for 2. But Joe Girardi kind of going against some of those numbers, and I know it's a very, very limited sample size.
Miller closed one game in this series so far. And there's a fastball strike.
That game, and he did close. He had a little wiggle room, and he needed it because it was a little off that day. You see a little different situation here. Middle of the lineup, one-run game.
In that game, they didn't bring him in because they were leading 5-1 going into the ninth inning. Cabrera 2 for 12 against the Yankees so far. So they brought in Chris Martin to start the inning, and he struck out Cabrera and Victor Martinez. But a couple hits, they brought in Miller. There's a strike. 1-2.
Those numbers, 2 for 12 in the series. Yankee pitcher has done a great job against his whole Tiger lineup, especially Cabrera. Joe Girardi holding his breath in that dugout watching this at bat.
Swing and a miss, got him on a breaking ball. So Cabrera down on strikes.
Well, I mentioned Cabrera 2 for 2 against Miller in his career, but we look at the pitch by pitch. Fastball, strike 1. Slider misses down and in. Fastball in, perfect pitch, and then he comes back with a slider down and in, swings right over the top. Great job by Andrew Miller there.
Yankees want to get out of Dodge without Miguel Cabrera hurting them. And they've done a good job wrangling him in this series. So they're 2 outs away. They lead 2-1, bottom of the ninth inning. There's Victor Martinez. He's 0 for 2 and a sac fly in the first. Ground ball, diving stop by Headley. Gets to his feet, fires, 2 away.
Well, again, I mean, defense is so important and good in big, one-run games. And Headley's made a couple great plays today. Again, you got to watch this and think, okay, great, he dove and made a play. No, these balls are hit hard. Your reaction time is not anything at the hot corner. Well, what a difference. You guys can make the plays.
I know the throw across the diamond's the easy part once you lay out, but you always see Chase Headley get on top of the ball and get four-seam rotation. He never drops his arm angle and throws that little left-to-right flip across the diamond.
Here's J.D. Martinez, 2 for 3 with 2 doubles in this game. So he has 2 of the 3 hits. And a breaking ball strike from Miller. Headley deep and close to the line at third. Swing and a miss.
Tell you what, as kind of erratic as Miller was the other night, he's that good today. Yeah. Good sharp breaking slider and a good fastball.
One more strike for the Yankees and they would have taken 3 out of 4 from the Tigers. And when the Yankees came in here, the Tigers had the best record in baseball. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. The Yankees win a game 2-1. They win the series 3-1. And what a road trip for the Yankees. They win 7 of the 10 games. And now they move 2 games over 500 for the first time this year. What a performance by Jacoby Ellsbury, pretty much working both of those runs himself. Yankee pitching was outstanding with Tanaka and particularly Betances and Miller.